for the leadership. We didn't get that leadership. I took it upon myself to step up, to take that leadership, and that's why I met with the department heads, to make sure everything was out. And they were told, your budget this year is your budget next year, there's no increase. They all abided to it. They all know it. Their budget is submitted to the finance director as of last month, every department. We are already ahead, months ahead of where we were last year. So will this happen again?
As another, I guess I call a follow-up question to that topic, what convinced you to vote for the tax increase?
I don't think it was a vote for the tax increase. I think it was a vote for the overall budget. And when you look at it in that standpoint, it's like voting on any bill. There's items in there you like, there's items in there you don't like. My project for getting the lead out of the system was the first thing that was cut this year. So do I take a stand, put my hands on my hip, and say, heck with the rest of the budget, I ain't voting for it? Where would that done us? That's not going to do any good. So you sit down and you look at each department, what they had to offer, and what they cut in their department. And what we ended up cutting out of the park and rec budget, I think there was only one thing that didn't get cut. We're city of parks. And we're cutting this budget to pieces. So I don't think it was the tax increase itself. I voted on the overall budget. And I think that's what we have to look at. We have to look at the big picture. We just can't look at one item in the budget. You have to look at the overall budget and how it's going to affect our community, to keep our community growing and on the right path that was set 5 years ago with our strategic plan. That's where we're headed right now. We are on the right path for a better community.
Yeah, my answer is a little different. I mean, there was at least some consensus on a 3% tax increase, and obviously when the tax information was documented on the tax bills, it was done in a fashion that, number one, wasn't very clear, and number two, very confusing, so that didn't help. But why did I support that? And again, it was something Mayor Wellner supported. I did, a number of other people did. Because a zero tax increase in the current economy means reduction somewhere. You have to look at the consumer price index, you have to look at your inflationary rates, and I think for the past number of years that has floated around the 2.5% to 3% mark, if I'm going off of memory here. Right. So what I proposed, and again, at least the mayor and I came to agreement that before there was good understanding of what the tax information was on the bills, is that we would make an adjustment in the 2020 budget planning to offset the mistakes that were made. I think there's still a lot of misinformation on that. I saw a letter to the editor in this week's Photo News that talked about still talking about the same tax rates, when in reality, if people go to the county website, the public website shows their tax information, they'll see that it was 3 to 4% average increase, not 7.4. And but it's hard to communicate that after the fact.
I'd like to thank the audience for their questions. Unfortunately, we are out of time and we will not get to all of the questions that they submitted. It is now time for closing statements. I believe we started with Alder Russell for opening statements, so we will start with Alder Norton for closing statements.
Merrill has made progress. The council, in collaboration with constituents, businesses, community organizations, and city employees, has created conditions that encourage growth to happen. During my tenure, we've completed 54 infrastructure projects to regain lost ground, 4 new affordable housing initiatives to keep Merrill economically accessible for the next generation, 6 building renovations to keep Merrill fresh and vibrant, 12 property rejuvenation projects, and 17 new building initiatives, creating opportunities for current and future businesses, and 11 properties cleared to make room for new opportunities. In order to maintain this progress, we need to stay on the long-term plans. To keep Merrill moving forward takes investments. The investment we all have made in this community provides services we all reap rewards from. From the removal of lead pipes before many other cities even realized they had a problem, to taking over neglected fairgrounds and making it a destination and an economic engine. I am proud in the progress we have made. Keep the 5 council members in place so the community is on the right path, where the only agenda is to keep the community growing and to make Merrill a better place to shop, recreate, and live. So be sure to support me and the other 4 incumbents Tuesday, July 16th. Your vote will determine the future of our community.
I'll continue where I left off in the opening comments. Last thing I mentioned was we don't need more negative stories or public relations for the city of Merrill. It would be nice to have a media outlet from Wausau actually come to the city of Merrill and cover a positive news story. The loss of money, there's going to be a cost to this election that somebody's going to have to pay. The city's going to have to pay, the recall committee is going to have to pay as they committed to a number of months ago, or some foundation is going to have to pay, but there's a cost to that. The other cost is, I didn't ever want to campaign or buy signs or do any of that, but if you add that up for the 10 of us, there's a cost to that, probably $10,000 or more. Money that could have been used to finish the handicap playground park at playground at Normal Park. And then there's a cost of our focus, attention, and time away from doing our jobs that you elected us to do. And that's probably the most frustrating thing for me, because we've been disrupted and delayed on getting a bunch of things done this last year because of the 3 events that I previously mentioned. I mean, you elected us to do a job, we want to do it, I guess you're going to tell us who you want to do it next Tuesday. Like Rob said, everybody needs to vote. I know nobody wants to in the summertime and the general election 7 months away, but you have to. To me, it's a referendum. How often do you want to do recalls? I think it's a question for the city of Merrill. How am I doing on time?
5 seconds.
The other 2 items I wanted to clarify in the. Thanks to everybody for attending.
And a huge thank you to Alders Russell and Norton for participating in the forum. Thank you, too, for your time this evening. Okay, there will be a 15-minute break. Definitely ask additional questions. We will have the no cards or pencils available, and we will meet with districts 5, 6, and 8 at 7:15.